You scroll through social media at night, seeing friends travel often, upgrade cars, and live lives that look effortlessly wealthy. Everyone around you seems comfortable, confident, and financially ahead, while you quietly wonder why money still feels tight. Maybe you drive a decent car, pay your bills on time, yet still feel uneasy whenever an unexpected expense appears. That quiet anxiety doesn't mean you failed. It means you are living inside a very expensive economic reality. Before we go further, gently tap. Like if you have ever felt confused by how rich everyone else appears. Comment one word below describing your current feeling about money. Either calm or stressed, nothing more is needed. If someone close to you is silently struggling financially, sharing this video can be a small act of kindness. And if calm, honest conversations about money help you think clearly, consider subscribing for grounded financial discussions. Let me share something personal that completely changed how I see wealth in everyday American life. A close friend of mine looked incredibly successful from the outside, always traveling, always upgrading, always smiling. He drove a new car, wore expensive clothes, and posted vacation photos that made everyone assume he was thriving. One night, he admitted something surprising while we talked privately over a simple dinner together. Despite his lifestyle, he carried credit card balances, had little savings, and constantly worried about missing payments. That conversation revealed how misleading appearances can be, even among people we know very well. This is why today we are talking about what wealth actually looks like in America. Specifically, we are discussing the average American's real net worth, not the lifestyle we see online. To understand this clearly, we need to explain one important concept most people misunderstand completely. That concept is net worth, which simply means everything you own minus everything you owe. This includes your home, retirement accounts, savings, investments, and subtracts debts like loans and credit cards. But another word matters even more here, and that word is median. Median means the exact middle point, where half of households have more and half have less. This matters because averages are distorted by billionaires and extreme wealth at the very top. Median gives us a far more honest picture of what normal financial life looks like. According to recent Federal Reserve survey data, the median household net worth is around $200,000. That number often surprises people because it sounds larger than expected at first glance. But remember, this represents households, not individuals, and often includes multiple adults and dependents. Even more important, that $200,000 is not sitting as cash in a bank account. Net worth is spread across different categories, many of which cannot be easily accessed. A large portion usually comes from home equity, meaning the value of your home minus the mortgage. Home equity increases net worth, but you cannot easily spend it without selling or borrowing. Retirement accounts like 401s and IRAs also make up a significant portion of household net worth. These accounts grow over time but often come with penalties if accessed too early. Then there are personal items like vehicles, furniture, and electronics, which technically count as assets. Selling those items would disrupt daily life and still provide limited financial flexibility. Finally, we reach the most important category for daily security: liquid assets. Liquid assets are cash and savings you can immediately use during emergencies or unexpected situations. Here's the surprising part. Median liquid assets for American households are often under $20,000. That amount covers small emergencies but does not create real freedom or long-term peace of mind. This is why $200,000 feels very different on paper than in real life. On paper, it sounds impressive, but practically much of it cannot help you today. This explains why so many Americans feel financially fragile, despite appearing successful. Now imagine someone in their mid-30s working steadily, possibly owning a modest home already. Their net worth might be $75,000 to $100,000, which sounds reasonable. That amount provides stability, but it does not fund luxury vacations or constant lifestyle upgrades. Many people at this stage still manage student loans, childcare, rent, and rising living costs. Even with decent income, these expenses slow wealth growth dramatically. This is why reaching the median does not feel life-changing for most households. The real difference comes from what happens after this point, not the number itself. Understanding reality allows you to stop comparing yourself to misleading financial images, and it gives you the clarity needed to make better decisions moving forward. Yes, now, many people assume reaching $200,000 automatically means financial freedom, but that assumption almost never reflects real life. To understand why, we must place this number into real situations Americans regularly face throughout their adult lives. Imagine having $200,000 entirely in cash and beginning to cover common major expenses. A college education alone can easily consume a six-figure amount, especially without scholarships or family financial support. A modest wedding in many areas of the country can realistically cost $40,000 or more. Purchasing a new car today can quickly approach $50,000 after taxes, fees, and financing costs. Even a relatively small down payment on a home may require $50,000 or more. Suddenly, that $200,000 feels dramatically smaller than it initially sounded moments earlier. It covers important milestones, but it does not create lasting security or long-term financial freedom. Now consider someone entering their 50s after decades of steady work, saving, and financial responsibility. According to recent data, the median net worth for this age group rises to roughly $250,000. Even at this stage of life, the number surprises many people because it feels much lower than expected. After 30 years of working, most households still remain far from reaching millionaire financial status. One major reason is that saving consistently becomes difficult amid rising everyday living expenses. Housing, healthcare, transportation, and family responsibilities consume a large portion of household income. Lifestyle inflation also plays a powerful role as income gradually increases over time. Small upgrades slowly become permanent expectations rather than occasional rewards or conscious financial choices. Investing is often delayed, minimized, or approached too cautiously to create meaningful long-term growth. Many people keep money sitting in low-growth accounts because emotional safety feels more important than returns. Unfortunately, this behavior limits compounding and significantly slows wealth accumulation over many years. Another common misconception is believing that owning a home automatically means being financially wealthy. Home equity adds to net worth, but it does not generate usable cash without selling or renting. It also provides little help during emergencies unless you borrow against it with added risk. Meanwhile, social media continues amplifying the illusion that everyone else is doing better financially. Luxury homes, new phones, premium vehicles, and curated lifestyles dominate online feeds every single day. These images rarely reveal debt balances, stress, anxiety, or financial vulnerability behind the scenes. Most households are balancing bills, saving modestly, investing lightly, and spending more than they realize. Credit cards and loans frequently bridge the gap between income and desired lifestyle choices. This creates a cycle where people appear wealthy while remaining financially fragile underneath. Median net worth data reveals that this situation is far more common than most people realize. It clearly shows that appearances can be deeply misleading when judging real financial health. Two households with identical net worth numbers can experience completely different levels of security. The difference often comes down to liquid assets and manageable, controllable monthly expenses. Access to cash creates flexibility, options, and emotional breathing room during difficult moments. Without liquidity, even relatively high net worth numbers can feel stressful and restrictive. This explains why many Americans feel anxious despite appearing successful from the outside. They are managing obligations constantly rather than enjoying genuine financial freedom, and understanding this reality helps remove unnecessary shame and damaging self-blame around money. Being below the median does not mean you failed or made irresponsible financial decisions. It often means you are navigating an economic system that makes wealth accumulation difficult. Rising costs and constant consumption pressures affect nearly everyone across income levels. The goal is not to look rich, but to feel secure and in control financially. True wealth provides options, time flexibility, and significantly reduced financial anxiety. It allows you to handle emergencies calmly without panic or major lifestyle disruption. This perspective shift is where meaningful and lasting financial progress truly begins. Once you see reality clearly, comparison loses much of its emotional power. You stop measuring success through appearances and start focusing on stability and control. That clarity makes smarter, calmer financial decisions possible over long periods of time. Moving beyond the median is achievable with awareness, consistency, patience, and intentional behavior. It always starts by understanding where most people actually stand today financially. When people truly understand this financial reality, they often feel relief instead of disappointment for the very first time. That relief comes from realizing they are not uniquely bad with money or secretly falling far behind others. They are simply living inside a system where everyday expenses rise faster than most household incomes today now. Once this truth becomes clear, guilt and shame around money slowly begin to loosen their grip inside people. This emotional shift matters because real progress rarely happens, while people live with constant financial fear daily inside. Fear encourages avoidance, and avoidance quietly prevents people from making intentional, thoughtful financial decisions over long periods of time. Many households drift financially, not because they are careless, but because long-term clarity is missing for most people. Without understanding the bigger picture, it becomes easy to assume everyone else has money figured out already completely. In reality, most people are improvising, reacting, and hoping nothing unexpected goes wrong financially at any given moment. This explains why financial stress remains common, even among people with stable jobs and decent incomes today nationwide. The issue is rarely income alone. It is usually the structure of spending and expectations over many years. When spending quietly rises alongside income, wealth always feels permanently just out of reach for most working families. This pattern often repeats for years unless something forces people to pause and reassess their financial direction seriously. Sometimes that pause arrives through emergencies, job losses, or unexpected medical expenses that disrupt normal financial stability completely. Other times it comes from honest conversations when numbers finally stop matching appearances inside people's private financial lives. Those moments feel uncomfortable, but they often mark the true beginning of financial awareness for many ordinary adults. Awareness helps people separate what looks impressive from what actually creates long-term stability in their everyday financial lives. It allows success to be defined by control, flexibility, and peace instead of comparison with others online daily. At this point, the goal quietly shifts from looking rich to building durable financial security over many years. This security means having enough cash to handle surprises without immediate stress or panic during real-life moments. It also means having flexibility to slow down, say no, or change direction when life demands it unexpectedly. This kind of security is rarely visible, which explains why it is often underestimated by others around us. Yet it is far more valuable than the appearance of wealth seen online or socially every single day. People who prioritize security often live below their means in ways others never notice during ordinary daily life. They drive ordinary cars, delay upgrades, and quietly build financial buffers over long periods of time, consistently anyway. These choices may look boring, but they create options when others feel trapped by their own financial situations. This is how people slowly move beyond the median, without dramatic changes or extreme sacrifices over many years. Small, consistent decisions compound far more reliably than short bursts of intense financial effort over long periods of time. Progress rarely comes from one perfect strategy. It comes from sustained, realistic habits practiced patiently over many years. Understanding median net worth helps set expectations that align with real economic conditions faced by most American households. It replaces unrealistic comparisons with a clearer view of where most households truly stand financially today overall nationwide. This clarity allows people to measure progress against themselves, rather than strangers online who post highlight reels daily. That shift alone reduces stress and improves long-term financial decision-making by creating calmer, more deliberate money choices. It also creates patience, which is essential for compounding to work effectively across different market cycles and lifetimes. Wealth is built slowly, quietly, and invisibly over many ordinary years through repetition discipline and consistent financial behavior. It rarely arrives through dramatic moments or sudden lifestyle transformations that appear impressive but lack lasting financial substance. Most financial success stories are far less exciting than social media suggests when you examine their full context. They involve restraint, planning, and repeating unglamorous decisions consistently, even when progress feels slow, boring, or socially invisible. This reality may feel disappointing at first, but it is ultimately empowering because it returns control to you. Empowerment comes from realizing progress is possible without perfection or extreme measures for ordinary people living real lives. Anyone willing to pay attention can improve their financial position relative to the median over time, steadily, consistently. It does not require extraordinary income luck or insider financial knowledge to make meaningful progress over long term. It requires awareness, intention, and willingness to resist constant lifestyle pressure surrounding modern American consumer culture today daily. That resistance becomes easier once you understand how common financial fragility actually is everywhere across society today now. Knowing the truth removes the illusion that everyone else is winning financially all the time online, socially, constantly. It allows you to focus inward and build stability at your own pace without unnecessary pressure from others. This mindset shift is where real wealth building quietly begins for many ordinary people over long periods of time. From here, the path forward becomes clearer, calmer, and far less overwhelming emotionally for most people watching today. You stop chasing appearances and start intentionally designing financial resilience instead of long-term security stability choices deliberately. This approach creates confidence because your financial decisions align with reality rather than fantasy expectations portrayed online today. Over time, this alignment reduces stress and builds trust in your own financial judgment, slowly, steadily, consistently forward. That trust makes it easier to stay disciplined during uncertain markets and difficult life moments without panic reactions. Instead of reacting emotionally, you begin responding calmly with clearer priorities and long-term thinking guiding everyday financial decisions. This calm response separates people who build wealth steadily from those who constantly feel behind financially, emotionally, socially. It is not about perfection, but about consistency applied patiently across many ordinary years of adult working life. Most people underestimate how powerful small, repeated financial behaviors become over decades when practiced intentionally, consistently, patiently, daily. Understanding the median gives context without discouragement and replaces confusion with clarity about personal financial progress today, realistically. It shows you that financial progress is quieter, slower, and more achievable than imagined for most working adults. This realization helps people breathe easier and approach money with healthier expectations about success, security, timelines, goals overall. And that shift alone creates a foundation strong enough to support lasting financial freedom over an entire lifetime. As we reach the end, remember this video exists to offer clarity, not judgment or unrealistic promises today. If you have felt pressured by appearances, know that many others share the same quiet financial worries today. You are not late, broken, or irresponsible for not matching the lifestyles constantly displayed online by others today. Those images represent spending, borrowing, and selective moments, not sustainable wealth or long-term financial stability for most households. Real progress begins when you focus less on comparison and more on building quiet personal resilience over time. That resilience grows through emergency savings, thoughtful spending, and consistent investing aligned with your real-life goals today. None of this requires perfection, extreme frugality, or sacrificing joy from your everyday meaningful experiences with loved ones. It requires honesty, patience, and the courage to choose stability over approval repeatedly despite social pressure daily today. If this perspective helped you feel calmer, consider sharing it with someone silently carrying financial stress right now. Sharing is not advice or criticism. It is a quiet reminder that they are not alone right now. Sometimes knowing the truth is enough to help someone breathe and begin thinking differently about money today now. If you found value here, subscribing helps more people find grounded conversations about money and life like this. This channel exists to replace noise with clarity and fear with understanding over time for everyday Americans today. We focus on reality, compassion, and practical thinking rather than hype, shortcuts, or empty financial promises online today. Thank you for spending your time here and choosing to engage with an honest conversation about money today. Your attention supports content that values long-term well-being over appearances and constant comparison in modern culture today now. Remember, building wealth is a personal journey measured best by peace, not performance in everyday life today now. Stay patient, stay curious, and allow yourself to grow financially at a pace that fits you best today. Progress does not need to be loud to be meaningful or powerful over time for most people today. It simply needs to be consistent, intentional, and aligned with the life you truly want over time today. Before you leave, take a moment to think about who in your life truly needs this perspective today. Many people suffer quietly believing everyone else has money figured out while they struggle alone behind closed doors. Sharing this video might help someone feel understood, supported, and less ashamed of their current financial situation today. It is not about fixing them, but about reminding them they are not broken or failing right now. Sometimes awareness is the first real step toward change, long before action feels possible for most people today. If this conversation helped you reframe money, please consider passing it forward with care to someone you trust. These small acts of sharing can quietly ripple outward, improving lives in ways we never see fully today. Thank you for staying until the end and engaging with a calmer, more honest discussion about money today. Your time and attention make this channel possible and help these messages reach the right people everywhere today. Remember, wealth is not a performance, but a quiet foundation supporting the life you want over time always. Focus on building that foundation steadily and let the noise of comparison fade away as you move forward. You deserve financial peace that matches your values, priorities, and real circumstances, not someone else's highlight reel online. Keep learning, keep questioning, and keep choosing progress over pressure as you move ahead in your financial life. This journey belongs to you, and it unfolds best when guided by clarity and compassion for yourself daily. Thank you for being here, and remember to share this video with someone who truly needs it today.